Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara. All relations. Today we're starting with another incredible lecture, another transmission, some incredible downloads last night, which I had sent to the adepts if they check the Telegram group. And yeah, things are really starting to gain traction again. And I've noticed this in the last few days. There's quite a shift of energies, isn't there? There seems to be sort of a cosmic exam going on right now. And I don't know if this is the same for everybody, but it feels like we're getting tested heavy, right? And I think that's a part of it. That's a part for us to explore. That's a part for us to realize. Now, before I begin, I want to thank all the adepts for being there last night and today. All Buddhas, all bodhisattvas, all deities, all gods, all gurus, all sages, all guides, all teachers, all mentors who have shaped me and my evolution. I'm also very grateful for the wisdom that I have from my spirit guides and the nexus of Primal Sutra, the conglomerate of the spirit frequency that we work with. Read the disclaimer. Let me share these wisdom tsunamis with the tribe. And let's get wavy. Okay. Today's topic is very interesting. It's about radical acceptance. Okay. I believe this was originally the title I remember of a woman's book that I'd seen a while back. And what I realized about this term is that she came up with a very interesting acronym. And I'm going to share that acronym with you guys today. So stay tuned for that. And I also want to just thank all the adepts who made it to last night's channeling. I was channeling King Jin, as you can notice this background. Okay. Holy fire. So I had channeled the Elemental King of Fire, King Jin, last night, and it was very, very powerful. All the downloads, I mean, they're still moving through my bones, my blood, like medicine. So I might be a little bit off today. I might say some weird things, cringe things. I might make this a radically accepting space for myself and you guys. So if I do anything that's a little bit unorthodox or a little bit quirky or whatever the fuck comes up, I'm going to embellish in it. I'm going to savor the moment and preach from a place of joy and wonder because that is really what my higher self, my inner child, my all parts of me that are fragmented right now, but some of them have conjoined over the years. I want to thank all of that, right? I wouldn't be the distilled version of my teachings. And I don't want you to be this one trick pony, right? Oh, he's just a flow state guy. He just does this. No, I transcend paradigms. That's why I chose flow state as a concept. I transcend past any different cage or um, limit that you can place me in because I'm way beyond that. I'm a whole conglomerate of spirit guides, right? So that's the first thing to understand is accepting what is, and the space will find you, right? So don't just accept the pain. You got to accept the resistance to the pain. Want what is, not what should be, and the space will begin to open for you. Okay? That's layer one. Okay? Yay, they talked about this in so many books, right? Surrender Experiment, Power of Now. But I'm going to speak to you like an omnis preacher today. I'm going to take points from different pantheons, stitch it together in this beautiful Sutra Tantra weavable adaptability, and then feed it back to you like it's a chicken nugget. Okay? Shout out Ferris. Yo, where is everybody? Oh, Mathis is here. King shit. Let's go. 222 in the building. Right now, we're talking about his question actually on how radical acceptance outranks control, outranks domination as a paradigm, right? And I call it the quiet power that rules the game. The quiet power that rules the game. Because that's exactly what it is. Okay? I want to thank those people who showed up in last night's channeling, man, including the guests and faces we haven't seen in a while. Anton, Miracle J, you already know, right? Legendary. So the battle is not with the condition, it's with your resistance to it. The sadness, the tension, or blocked energy, it's not just pain, it's layered with your wanting it to be gone. It's like you have a rash and it's like you want to keep that rash alive because it feels familiar. That wanting is a suffering. The shift begins when you drop this one demand. I want my inner state to be different. Instead, say, let this be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. Okay, artists have been singing about this for centuries. So you got to feel the contraction in your chest and the anxiety in your belly. Instead of fixing it, you say, it is what it is. Right? The masculine urge to say it is what it is. Feel the contraction, feel the anxiety, and then let it be. Breathe through it. Because space grows around what you allow. Not because the emotion disappeared, but because your attention stopped clinging to the emotion. A subtle spaciousness begins to surround the discomfort. The sacred pause. That space becomes more interesting than the pain. You start becoming the awareness of the condition rather than the condition itself. This is the start of presence. So let go of what you want and want what is. Say yes to the tension, the sorrow, and even the spiritual yearning itself. Feel it, but from space, not from identity. The body holds memory. Sometimes resistance is ancestral or pre-verbal. So I understand that when I'm getting anxious, it's not me, it's my ancestors, right? It's something else working through me. It's a spirit, it's an egregore, and I'm feeding it every time I feel into it with such a radical degree. I don't mean be passive, right? I don't mean be fake stoic and just hold it all in and suppress it all in. You got to let it move and go, right? Don't deny the experience. That's going to cause more of a stuckness to the energy, right? But this is the most radical energy alchemy available because when you stop resisting that block, the block becomes a doorway. Shout out Janus. Okay. And the more we can be invested in this understanding and more interested in the space around the pain than the pain itself, and in that moment, you begin to remember who you are. Some other spiritual book you might be reading is speaking about this exact concept, but many don't embody it. Sometimes we all get into a victim mode. We all do it. Sometimes there are power dynamics of the disempowered. So we have to understand that adults take responsibility. Children who lacked good parenting or direction want to make the world their parent. Hear me out here. That's when they get stuck in a perpetual victim state. Hey, world, please take care of me. Please save me. I need a father figure or a mother figure. You see? And that's a split from most people's animus and anima, their own masculine, feminine polarities get shamed and stuck. Oh, you're being too feminine. Oh, you're being too masculine. Or you're being too this. You're being too that, right? Every time you judge, it's a limit around someone else's potential. But it's really a limit around your own potential. This is what I will explain. Okay? So acceptance and forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself first. You got to understand this, guys. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. You might have heard that as a quote or like a bumper sticker somewhere. But life hurts, but what hurts more is resisting life. So radical acceptance is the act of not stabbing yourself with a second arrow. Don't put pain on top of your pain, dog, right? Energy in motion, right? What boggled my mind was let go of what you want and learn to want and be grateful for what you have, as Bible states. Those who have more will be given. Those who have not, even the last will be take. I think you mean taken or okay. That's lit, man. I'm gonna speak about the Bible too. I'm gonna bring up all these different pantheons and path workings. Hey there, love. How you doing? All right. So both are gifts you give to yourself, not favors for others. Radical acceptance equals releasing resistance. Forgiveness equals releasing resentment. They end the war within you. So we're not saying this is fine. Okay, this background with me saying that. You're saying this is. And from that truth, you reclaim your power again. And when do we use radical acceptance? When a relationship is toxic, when someone in our life passes away, when you've tried everything and it's still out of your hands, when the pain is real, but resistance is what's killing you. When not to use radical acceptance, when you're in danger or being abused, when you do have the power to act, when you're just burned out or avoiding effort. Okay? The Buddhist metaphor of the two arrows. The first arrow is pain. The second arrow is a self-judgment, right? It's a blame. It's an overthinking. Radical acceptance drops that second arrow. So avoiding is numbing, distracting, pretending it's fine. Clinging is obsessing, ruminating, spiraling. They're both traps. Acceptance is neither, it's sober presence, right? We need to resort to different things like substances because we want the acceptance that it brings us. So I don't want to face these annoying thoughts in my head. Let me kind of chill out, numb myself out so that I can experience perfect presence right now. Okay? So you have to make the real shift from why is this experience happening to me to I can handle it, I can accept what is, this too shall pass. The wise mind, not the emotional chaos or the, cold, hard logic and facts. It's right in between, right? And it's not easy and it's not passive either. So this is the act of conscious courage. And if you can't do it yet, just become willing enough. Just give yourself a little bit of willingness, a little bit of acceptance, a little bit of allowance. And it starts there because that starts the snowball effect. Once you accept, you can grieve. And once you grieve, you can heal. So radical acceptance doesn't change the past, it changes your relationship to the present moment. And from there, your future is reborn. So don't just accept the pain, accept the resistance to it. Okay? You become more interested in the space around the pain than the pain itself. Now, radical honesty is not about constantly questioning things. It's about beingness. So be it. So it is done. We say these things, right? At the end of incantations, mantras, prayers, and yet we treat this life like we're living in this one annoying slice of the now, underrating this entire cosmic orchestra that's playing. So this gentle, holy message is all about radical acceptance, but it's not a lukewarm, passive kind where you slap on a smile and you pretend you aren't suffering. This is the sacred art of staring your own pain in the face and saying, I see you, and I'm not turning away from you. I'm completely here with you now. Now, let me tell you something that most spiritual self-help tourists just aren't ready to hear. Your suffering ain't a mistake. It's not a glitch in the code. It's the teacher. That pit of shame in your gut, that voice whispering, not enough, that compulsion to perform, to prove, to earn your worth, that's the clay, right? That's the clay. And underneath it is gold. You are the golden Buddha underneath. You just forgot. We all did, right? That's the damn tragedy of humanity and the miracle. You've been carrying brilliance in your bones and trying to apologize for it since you were 5 years old because your mama didn't see it, your teacher didn't know how to hold it, and society kept gaslighting you into thinking you were broken. You're just covered by coping, covered by comparison, covered by the cancel culture's bullshit, right? But here's the real juice. Judgment doesn't heal you, presence does. You can't bully yourself into enlightenment, right? You can't shame yourself into wholeness, but you can be a parent to yourself. You can pause, you can bow, you can feel. And that's the power of this acronym from this book. RAIN, recognize what's there, allow it to exist without gaslighting it, investigate with tenderness, not interrogation, and nurture the wound like if it was your own inner child begging to be held. So what happens after the rain? You remember. You remember that the fear, guilt, anxiety, those are just weather patterns. And you're the damn sky. Most of our lives, we move like there's something wrong with us. And that's the greatest long con, to make a whole civilization believe its soul is defective, just to keep it hustling, numbing, and buying new bandages for wounds that it never dared to feel. But it's time to come home. We're all walking each other home, as Ram Dass said, right? Time to sit with yourself, hand on heart, and say, I trust my love. I trust my goodness. You don't need a spiritual guru to give you permission. Your body's been waiting. Your heart's been whispering. And that old man in the diner that's really cranky, hey, you know? He's just covered in dust, yo. He's just waiting for one innocent, hi there. So don't just do rain like a technique. Live it. Live like rain. Live like the storm. Let it be a rebellion. Let it be a revolution. Let it be a return, yeah. Okay, turning into a reggae guy right now. What the fuck? And when you rise from that practice, let your presence be a damn blessing. Not because you're trying to prove anything, and not because your love is finally free to be seen. Namaste? Nah, I'ma stay, right? I see the goddamn gold in all of you, even my baby, right? She's got her nails done in gold in one of the fingers, the rest little sprinkles, but real gold. And I won't let this world convince you that it's clay again, right? People look at that, oh, that's just clay. No, it's real gold, right? And that's what radical acceptance is. And that's why it's greater than domination and control, even if control feels faster. This is what I learned from King Jin. It feels faster, right? Domination looks sexier. Control feels efficient. That's quick dopamine. I'm in charge. I can make it happen. I can bend the world to my own devices. But here's the trap. Domination gets results, but they don't last. They don't last. They don't ever last. A wildfire gets stomped out. Radical acceptance builds power that doesn't need to shout. Control isn't strength. It's anxiety with muscles. You're wrestling reality because deep down you don't trust reality or yourself. So you try to manipulate others, manage every variable, micromanage all your emotions because you're terrified of just letting go. You're terrified of that? But here's the rub. If your peace depends on the world obeying you, then you aren't free. Control changes behavior, acceptance transforms being. Hey, domination might shut someone the hell up, right? But it doesn't integrate the pain, the pattern, or the wound. We're going for the root cause. We're going for the jugular, right? You can control your anger for a week, but until you accept that part of you that's scared underneath that anger, you're just pressing down a volcano and calling it progress. You guys get what I mean? Yeah. Interesting. It's Tuesday. I had a talk with my dad, and we discuss on that humans only learn by pain and pleasure. Yep. And slowly moves ahead. We are pre-programmed to go from lack, avoid pain, go to pleasure, you know? Yeah, man. And the weird thing is, if you put yourself through a mild pain, right? If you put yourself through pain, you get a mild pleasure afterwards. If you put yourself through pleasure, you get a mild pain afterwards. Have you guys noticed this? It's the complete opposite effect. Like if I go to the gym and I lift heavy, right? I'm putting myself through pain, but I'm gonna feel good the rest of the day, right? I'm gonna feel like, yeah, it's a little bit sore, whatever, but I'm gonna feel the endorphins in my body, right? Whereas the other one, it's like I do something that brings me pain, right? I stay up too late, or I like get cranky at somebody because I haven't slept enough, or whatever it is, right? That moment of like pleasure, like let's say you eat like a whole tub of ice cream, you're gonna feel like crap afterwards, right? That's the mild pain that comes after the pleasure. So this is what I mean, right? So it's rest in action, right? It's the same theories. So it's the duality that we're constantly playing with. You got to be the center point because then you are the choice point, right? So you can bend a river with enough force, but it'll flood the banks eventually. And radical acceptance, you flow with the river, you learn its rhythm, you become the water, not the dam, right? And guess what? Water wears down stone, gently, patiently, but permanently. Dominate someone, they'll comply for now, but they'll resist in silence. They won't talk about it. They'll build resentment inside of themselves. They'll hide it from you. They'll lie to you. They'll mirror your fear back. But acceptance, it melts the armor. It invites truth instead of extracting truth. And people want to meet you there because it feels safe. It's not forced, right? Control is fast, but it's directional. Acceptance is wise. Control is a straight shot, pop! But sometimes it's a shot in the wrong direction. Acceptance slows you down long enough to feel what is true. And that pause, that discomfort, that's your soul recalibrating towards integrity, wholeness again. Yeah, these are the downloads. Control says I must protect my identity. I must win. Acceptance says I'm not my reactions. I'm the space behind them. One makes you addicted to outcomes. One embodies the unshakable I am presence in any weather. So control is like a short-term fix for long-term bondage, if you think about it, right? But radical acceptance is the long game because it's nervous system sovereignty, right? Spiritual Aikido or Jiu-Jitsu. You stop reacting to life. You start creating from alignment. You understand the intent, and then you move. Domination might get you ahead for a moment, but acceptance makes you undeniable for life. And if you want to blend both, acceptance as the foundation, control as temporary tool, that's divine balance, right? But if you lead with control and skip the inner reckoning, yo, that's just a tyrant with a ticking clock, right? Truth plus responsibility. Radical acceptance. Ain't no spiritual bypass. Ain't no feel-good fantasy. You want liberation? It starts with this. You played a part in every single thing that happened to your life, even the messy parts. Even when you were hurt. That doesn't mean blame, it means ownership. You walked into that room, you opened that door. You ignored that red flag because part of you still wanted the drama, still wanted the pity party, still wanted to be the child who gets attention without responsibility. We lied to ourselves all the time, guys. Oh, it's just one cookie. I'll do it tomorrow. They're the problem, not me. My parents were perfect. I don't have trauma. It's not that bad. Bullshit. Every lie you tell yourself is a little betrayal, a little blindfold on your own damn soul. And you wonder why you can't accept what's happening in your life because you don't even see it clearly. You picked someone broken, then made them responsible for your healing. You became the victim, got the attention, and never had to give any of it back. This is why you're staying stuck, guys. So listen very closely. Don't run from this. This is the real shadow work. You stay the child so you could avoid setting boundaries and being sovereign. And that's the truth. And you can't run from the truth. And that's not evil. It's just an old survival strategy. And guess what? What saved you as a child is now destroying you as an adult. Oh, man. Oh, man. You want the world to be your parent? That's the real wound. You don't want to take responsibility. And I'm speaking to myself here too, guys. Don't think I'm just blasting it at you. If you want someone else to stop drinking, stop destroying their lives, stop yelling, stop abandoning, so you don't have to grow up. Radical acceptance. That's not about fixing them. It's about stopping that emotional outsourcing and saying, I got me. I'm the captain now. I'm the parent now, right? So what did I get out of this dysfunction? How did it help me to play the victim? How did it help me to stay the child? Because children blame and adults set boundaries. How did I avoid responsibility by turning them into my parent? How did I make them the guilty one so I could feel pure? How did I use blame to avoid maturity? How does holding on to this resentment give me permission to hate them instead of facing my own pain? Oof. This is dragon's breath right here, okay? I don't know what you guys think of these questions. This is like stepping into the fire. Shout out King Jin. So, what do you want? What will you no longer tolerate? What can you control? And what's the smallest next step you can take right now to stop betraying yourself? Now we're cooking, right? We have the right ingredients now. It doesn't mean that everything's okay. Okay, radical acceptance isn't that. It means you finally stop pretending you didn't help build this mess. It means you see the whole damn picture and you own your piece of it. It means you grow up emotionally. You stop casting villains and you start healing forward. You don't stay stuck because of them. You stay stuck because you won't accept your own role. That's the key. So, what's it going to be? If are you going to keep wanting for someone to fix you, or are you going to wake up, lock yourself in the mirror and say, "No more. I'm taking back my throne now." Because you want to know what judgment is really? It's just a limited little lens, right? It's like a dusty little keyhole trying to collapse the infinite cathedral of reality into one flimsy ass opinion, right? Like trying to reduce a whole damn dodecahedron down to a flat doodle on a napkin. One angle shows you the light, but hides a whole cosmos of shadow. And here you are calling it the truth. Now, that's just your seat in the theater. You aren't judging them. You're judging your own damn distortion, broadcasting your dirty window onto someone else's stained glass soul. So judgment ain't a gavel slam from God. It's the flashlight beam from your own cracked mirror, right? So every time you squint at someone and discuss, ew, what the fuck? That person is weird. That all you really see is part of you that's still undealt with, still fragmented, still waiting on your own courage to hold it and transmute it. And I saw this little Instagram reel. I'd sent it to Ryan G, who needed some frame control assistance with a very annoying situation at his workplace, which basically means paradigm shifting. And there, the reel shared the story of the Buddha, right? He's sitting under the trees doing what he does. He's calm, radiant, chill like a mountain and still air. Oh, damn. That sounded like a bromance. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Hell no, that's too zesty, man. You can't compliment another man. Okay. So he's giving this speech, right? Drinking silence like water in the desert. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. So this dude, a heckler comes up, right? Very loud mouth, bitter heart. Probably got his ego bruised by someone holier than them. So now he's thinks it's a spiritual duty to take on the enlightened one down a peg, right? So he starts throwing major shade, insults, mockery, trying to rage bait him, right? Into some ego match. You aren't divine, you're a fraud. Your teachings are empty. You're leading people astray. And the Buddha, he just sits. He just ignores. He goes on with his speech. His breath was steady, his eyes were soft, his smile never wavering. And the heckler gets louder. Now he becomes more aggressive. He starts cursing him out, flinging filth like a monkey hurling its own shit at him, right? Like, but finally, someone in the crowd can't take it anymore. And they say, Lord Buddha, why don't you respond? Shut this man down, right? He's disrespecting you. And here's where the mic drop moment happens. This is a frame control shift for all of you guys, so listen here clearly. The Buddha, in his calm thunder voice, he said, if someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, who does the gift belong to? Well, it still belongs to me. Well, yes, he said. In the same way, I do not accept your insults. Therefore, they remain with you. Boom. Return to sender, motherfucker, right? He didn't fight the fire with more fire. He didn't let the noise pull him from the seat of his own stillness. He just watched like a mountain watches storms pass. And the heckler? Well, silence hit him harder than any retaliation ever could. Because here's the truth. He was looking for a dopamine hit. He was looking for the Buddha to give a reaction. But you only get hooked if you got Velcro, right? And Buddha was the original Teflon Don, Teflon soul. Nothing stuck. Water off a duck's back. It is what it is. Mastery of those things. And he owned his nervous system, and he mastered the art of non-reactivity. And that's what made him powerful. So the next time someone throws venom at you, remember, that's not mine. I'm not going to pick it up. If I pick it up, I fall into the poison. Let it fall to the ground and return to sender. That, my friend, is high-level judo of the spirit. That's mastery. That's Buddha in the trenches. Okay. Now let's go back to the live chat. What's up, Guido? It's all about seeing them, not judging them. Yeah, we all want to be seen. That's the core thing. Radical acceptance is radical forgiveness, is true self-love, clean slate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And something else you said was God mind equals parent mind, left and right brain, hemisync, inner unity, wholeness from root to crown, from crown to heart. Then live it. Yes, sir. Yep. Yep. The God mind is also, yeah, between the hemispheres, you could say, the one that sits in the middle, just like how Jesus was between two thieves, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere, right? They're trying to steal his power, but Christ remained in the middle of both of those thieves that are being also crucified, right? So that goes to show you, right, that this is across everything. Radical acceptance is across every single spiritual or psychological or religious framework. I'm not saying you have to be religious, but let's look through this lens because I think it's very interesting, actually. And now, I'm not a religious scholar. Okay, don't come at me with books and random references that, are nitpicky. I want to have an actual open conversation if you're down for that. So if you want, you can join our next podcast. You can speak about it. Why don't you bring what you have to the table, right? Instead of watching like a ninja watcher, why don't you bring your ideas to the table? You see, here's the spicy paradox for your soul soup. That fool who triggers you, the one who doesn't get it, who ain't spiritual, who maybe crossed the line, that's your teacher. They hold the key to your frozen inner chamber, and every time you recoil, you reveal the spot in you that still fears its own reflection. You think forgiveness is some high road halo shit? Forgiveness is energetic Aikido. It's you grabbing back your projections and cleaning your house. You aren't doing it for them. You're doing it to release yourself from your own psychic prison that you built with your own bricks of assumption. When you finally see that the observer and observed are one and the same, that you're the mirror, the light, and the angle, then judgment stops becoming punishment. It becomes a damn compass, a tool, a teacher. It's not about stop judging, right? That's still resistance. It's about studying your judgment like it's a sacred scripture. Because every time you judge, you're just consciousness mid-birth, trying to remember how to love itself again. Ooh, bars. So sit with your judgments. Don't banish them. Okay? Decode them. And then watch as your frequency stops reacting and starts reverberating like a tuning fork of the divine. That's grown folk magic, okay? That's inner alchemy. That's the Makara way. Radical acceptance, man, the Tao has been whispering that since the dawn of silence, okay? The Tao is a non-resistance, wu wei, okay, non-forcing or non-action. An alignment with the flow of what is. So Lao Tzu didn't call it radical acceptance, obviously, but he embodied it over and over in the Tao Te Ching. He reminds us, stop pushing, stop grasping, stop fixing, just be with it. The Tao is telling it to you straight, guys. It says in chapter 15, it says, do you have the patience to wait till your mind settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving till the right action arises by itself? Isn't that wise? Beyond our years? That's radical acceptance. Sitting still, letting the mud in your soul settle, not grabbing for the remote controller, the next self-help book. Just allowing the moment to reveal itself. And clarity doesn't come from control. It's easy to see how it comes from presence here, from power here, right? Inner power. The master sees things as they are without trying to control them. This is chapter 29. She lets them go their own way and resides at the center of the circle. That's Uwe, right? That's rain without the acronym. That's the sage that recognizes what is, allows it, investigates nothing with panic, and nurtures the moment by letting it go. Right? They don't fight the current. They become one with the water. Taoism echoes this with a deep respect for paradox. I don't think we respect paradox enough in culture, right, guys? This is a really tough one to really pinpoint, you know? Under heaven, all can see beauty as beauty only because there is ugliness. All can know good is good only because there is evil. There is no healing without discomfort, no wholeness without facing your fragmentation, no love without finally cleaning your wounds, your heartbreak. It's radical acceptance. That's Taoism in modern psychological language, okay, what I just told you. It's what happens when you stop trying to perfect your life and you start participating in its mystery. When you stop trying to become and simply be. Chapter 44 in the Tao Te Ching, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. That's the surrender, right? That's the moment after the rain. When the covering cracks and you realize you were never the mud. You were always the gold underneath. You were always the golden Buddha underneath that mud. So yeah, this is as ancient as the Tao, right? The pathless path of the sage, the brokenhearted, the deeply awake. Okay, let's talk about Hinduism now, okay? Are you guys interested in knowing the different perspectives from different cultures? Okay. True knowing, you know why. Aligned, smooth, divine. It's about seeing them, not judging them. Oh, I already read that one earlier. Paradox is a teacher everyone hates and wants to evade it. Yeah, man. So true. Shout out to my song Paradox as well. All right, so Bhagavad Gita. This is a warrior's manual for radical acceptance, man. Sukha dukhe same kritva, right? I'm not gonna bastardize this Sanskrit, okay? But what I would say is 238 in the Bhagavad Gita. Treat pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat with the same eye. Then prepare for battle. Thus you shall not incur sin. You don't get the karma, right? So Radical neutrality. Krishna isn't telling Arjuna to run from the pain. He's saying stand in it, stand in the fire of your life and don't flinch. Make the whole damn thing. Sorrow is the sorrow, the joy, the confusion with equanimity. That's radical acceptance, but with a sword in your hand, but still, right? From the Bhagavatam, the prayer of Brahma, it says, one who, in the face of suffering, sees it as the mercy of the Lord and continues to offer obeisance with heart, I think that means devotion or something, heart, words, and body, that person becomes eligible for liberation. Okay? So seeing your karma, your discomfort, your sorrow is divine intervention. It's not your punishment, it's a purification process. You're letting go of your samskars in a certain way. You know, in Hindu rituals, they have you like pierce your ears and like shave your head and like do all these different rituals when you're a baby to cleanse the samskars, by the way. Okay. The samskars are your mental imprints from past lives. So they really believe, right, that this is the case, that you need to do certain things to be able to manage this. Okay. So listen to this, right? The yogi doesn't flail against fate, he leans into it. She lets the river carry her because he or she knows that the river flows to the ocean always. In the Mahabharata, okay? What has happened was destined to happen. What will happen is already woven into time. The wise do not grieve what is beyond control. That's inner freedom, right? This is not apathy, by the way, guys. The Mahabharata is soaked in paradoxes. All these spiritual texts, war and wisdom in the same book, love and betrayal in the same book, right? But this line is like the thread that stitches it all together, doesn't it? What has happened was destined to happen. What will happen is already woven into time. The wise do not grieve what is beyond control. So stop fighting the moment, bow to it, transform it from within, right? That's what it's saying. And you're standing in the full heat of karma with remembership. I am the witness, I am the self, and this too belongs, right? Let's go into the Bible. We got to go through this fast because I still have some work today, later, okay? Well, let's go quick. Jesus in Gethsemane, all right? The ultimate allowance. Luke 22:42. Father, if you're willing, take this cup from me, yet not my will, but yours be done. That's reign in one verse, right? Recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. This is suffering. I don't want this, but I'm not going to deny it. Whose will is at play? I surrender to something higher. I trust that. Jesus felt it. He sweated blood, but he didn't resist the moment. He accepted the cross as destiny, not as defeat. Right? Corinthians 2:12-9. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. God doesn't say, fix yourself first, then I'll love you. God says, bring me your mess, I'll meet you there. Yeah. Way better than Bible study. Come on now. Right? Now just playing around. Radical acceptance is grace. It's the divine saying, I see your weakness and I call it holy ground. Right? But doesn't that make you an easy doormat to others? We know that there are perverted people around us, so if we don't protest, not when we disrespect it again and again by them. Yes, Avidanda, which is why I had also spoken previously, maybe before you came on here, about the reasons why you should not use radical acceptance, and those would be one of those cases. Yes. Yes, very good point. But go back to the recording maybe where I said it. Um, that'll be very useful. So yeah, this RAIN acronym, right? Recognize, allow, investigate, nurture. God doesn't like this is really interesting because in Psalm 46, it actually says stillness equals surrender, right? Be still and know that I am God. It's not do more, not fix yourself, just be still. That's the pause before the R in RAIN. Okay? That's where you remember who you are beyond striving. And Luke 15:20 says, while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son judged himself. He felt unworthy. He wanted to earn his place back, but the father, he didn't need an apology. He already accepted him. That's divine nurture. That's the end and reign. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Okay? It's cycles, right? Rhythms. It's trusting the timing even when it doesn't make sense to the logical mind. And Jesus with the outcasts, seeing the gold beneath the mud. So he touched the lepers, right? And he dined with the tax collectors. He forgave the prostitutes. Not once did he say, clean up, and then I'll love you, right? He saw through their soul, through their scars. Just like the story of the golden Buddha, Jesus saw the divinity beneath the dirt. That's the essence of the gospel. You are loved as you are, not as you should be. It comes back to this radical acceptance idea. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. He's not talking about physical tiredness there, guys. It's soul tiredness. When we're caught up in our own trance of unworthiness, right? And Christ doesn't want to shame you out of it. He loves you out of it, right? Radical acceptance isn't just psychology, it's scripture too. This is what I'm showing you guys. It's the posture of Christ on the cross, the whisper of God in the wilderness, to embrace uh, the Father on the porch. You don't need to earn grace, you just need to receive it. I could even take from the, okay, Islamic cultures, okay? Again, read the disclaimer. This is all my perspective. So take it with a grain of salt. Don't take this as word. Oh, Uncle Makara said it, so it must be true. No, do your own research, learn with it, right? This is a sacred strength. Tawakkul, complete reliance on Allah. Ridha, contentment with divine decree. Islam itself means submission to the real. So, Surah Al-Inshirah. Maybe for Faros could help us with some of these, man, because I can't pronounce any of these. But indeed, with hardship comes ease. It's not saying after the storm comes peace. It says with it comes peace. With the hardship. The opening is already hidden inside. The pain is not the punishment, it's a passage. Your tears are not weakness, they're water for the seed. Right? Acceptance doesn't mean liking it. It means recognizing, well, for the Muslims, Allah put this here, and he's not cruel. That's wisdom that's woven into the wound. Now, of course, people twist these scriptures around, and there's a lot of things we could say about it, but let's not go there. Let's listen to these and look from the perspective of radical acceptance. It's a practice in that, to go through religious texts and not react or have an opinion or have a judgment on it. Let's just listen, right? That's radical surrender, not fear-based fatalism, right? But a real deep security. Omnism, yeah. To knowing that you don't need to control everything because you already belong to something vaster, right? The Surah Tawbah, right, says that nothing will happen to us except that Allah has decreed for us. He's our protector. He does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear, right? So you're not drowning, you're just being taught to breathe underwater. So be patient indeed. The promise of Allah is truth. Perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. Allah knows and you do not know. This is peak radical acceptance, guys, because it doesn't run from the discomfort. They're saying, don't chase only pleasure. You don't have the full map. The divine does. So when your heart breaks or the path twists for you, you trust the author of the story, even when the plot doesn't make no damn sense. This is the Quran teaching you to let go of needing to understand and just receive, right? He is with you wherever you are in the Surah Al-Hadid. Okay? He's closer than your jugular vein, they say, which is actually a stress point for the vagus nerve, if you didn't know. Because I had once a coach, a healer, put their hand on my jugular once. And I don't know, it's like the side here, right? I don't know if it's exactly the jugular vein, but when he pressed down on it, relaxation flooded my body. Okay? That's all I can say about it because I can't really get into the scientific measures of why I'm doing this and so forth. But what I am saying is that was a direct experience. I couldn't deny that. Right? So perhaps all of this stuff is really related. You know, because the vagus nerve is that powerhouse nerve that goes through the entire body, right? But anyway, um, you know, I mean, we could talk about the Torah, okay? Hineni. When God called to Abraham, what did he say? Hineni, here I am. He didn't say, what now? He didn't say, oh, but why me? He said, I'm present. I don't know what's coming, but I'm here for it. Right? The the posture of a soul that says, I don't have control or clarity, but I do have presence. Hineni. Here I am. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. Moses is freaking out, right? He doesn't feel worthy. He's stuttering. He's scared. And what does God say? Right here, this spot, this little spot, your confusion, your discomfort, your trembling, that spot, when you stand there, it's holy, he's saying. So don't run. Strip down, stand on it. That's radical acceptance, seeing your messy moments as a sacred foundation and ground from which you can rise upward spiral, gang. Not when it's perfect, not when it's resolved, in the now. Exodus 14:15. Why do you cry out to me? Tell the people of Israel to move forward, right? So the Israelites are panicking behind them, the Pharaoh. In front of them is a sea, and Moses cries out to God, and essentially he's saying, stop praying, walk. So sometimes acceptance is action. It's not passivity, right? Not panic, but faith-fueled motion. So you move forward even when the path looks like it's drowning. And what happens? The sea parted where they stepped, not before. Now, Job from the Torah proper, but he's a Hebrew scripture, and he carries a nuclear core of radical acceptance. Job loses everything, right? Health, children, wealth, friends, and he demands answers. But God doesn't give you like MLA format explanations. So God just speaks to him through a whirlwind. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Woo! Right? Job learns this. Sometimes you won't get reasons. You get revelation. Not answers, but awe. So radical acceptance is about it's not about understanding why. It's about remembering who. Okay? The Kalahad in the Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says, to everything there is season and a time for every purpose under heaven. So acceptance is knowing there's a time for joy, there's a time for peace, there's a time for this, there's a time for that, a time to build, a time to burn it all down, And you don't get to control the timing. You just get to be faithful in the season you're given. Right? Stop resisting the flow of time and dance with it, mourn with it, trust it. That's what it's saying. So, divine approval as a baseline. And God saw all that he had made, and behold, it was good. Not perfect, not deserving, just very good. Your essence was declared divine before you performed a single act. You don't have to earn your place here. You're already included in the sacred yes. The Torah isn't just law, it's an invitation. It says life is confusing, exile happens, and even if the promised land is filled with giants, your job is to stay in the covenant, stay in presence, walk through the wilderness and trust. There's manna here. Eyeh asher eyeh. I will be what I will be. God is becoming in you. You're part of that process. Accept the moment, embrace the mystery, and live the covenant. And what about the shamans? What would the shamans say about this, right? But they would see a radical acceptance, I think, not as a concept in the mind, but as a lived ritual with the earth, the spirits, the ancestors, and the soul of the land, right? So acceptance is alignment of the web of life. So in the shamanic terms, you're not separate from nature. You're not doing life. You are life. So every emotion, illness, every failure is just a message from the great weave. You could think of in our culture, right? The great tantra, right? The weaving. So if you resist your pain, you resist your power. If you deny your grief, you block the teachings of the spirits. The shaman doesn't say fix it. The shaman says listen to it. Every discomfort is an animal guide in disguise. The wound is the teacher. The shadow is the spirit in costume, right? The shaman enters the underworld willingly, guys. Yo, he meets the jaguar. He drinks the poison to speak with the venom. They honor the darkness because they know light is born inside it. So radical acceptance shaman style means, yes, fear, I see you. Yes, loss, I make space for you. Yes, rage, I will not exile you. That's the way of the shaman. That's when the spirit of the wound shapeshifts into power. Anger is fire asking to move. Grief is water asking to flow. Anxiety is air that needs grounding. And numbing is earth that needs breaking. You don't suppress these forces. You make ritual with them. You give them tobacco. You dance, you know, with drums. You accept them as visitors with medicine, not as enemies. If you ignore the spirit, it becomes a demon. If you greet it, it becomes an ally. This is the shamanic way. Right? They don't say good spirits, bad spirits, eudaimons, kakodaimons, this, right? They don't split it up like we do, culture. Nature's law, I guess. Yeah. Nature's law. So it's a rupture in relationship, right? Illness isn't random. Radical acceptance means saying, where did I stop listening? What part of my soul got left behind, right? What song do I need to sing to remember? The medicine is in the return. The shaman dies before they die, so they descend into the void, into the afterlife, into the, you know, the hidden realms. They meet their ancestors, and then they rise reborn. And they say to themselves, I allow the old to fall away. I let this identity rot in the soil. I trust what's dying knows how to become something new. Oh, that's an important one. That's an important one for grief. I trust what's dying knows how to become something new. Because energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed, correct? That's powerful because in shamanism, there's no permanent self. It's like one, only cycles and rhythms and becomingnesses, right? So you are the ceremony. The shaman doesn't go to church. The shaman is the altar. The breath is a prayer. The tears are libation. The body is the drum. So radical acceptance isn't a mental game. It's a ceremony of presence, if you think about it. It's placing your bare feet on the earth and you're asking and saying, I accept this moment as sacred. I accept this feeling as a God. I accept myself not as perfect, right? So the shamanic, the Sabbath shaman mantra would be nothing is against me. Everything is speaking to me. I accept the message. I honor the spirit. I walk the path. That's the mentality of the shaman. Now, the Baha'i faith is also very interesting. From that frame, we see the world as trusting the divine plan, seeing the trials as tools, honoring the oneness beneath the suffering, and submitting to love's refining fire. So be not troubled in poverty, nor confident in riches, they say. That's divine neutrality. Radical acceptance means you don't get lost in your highs and you don't drown in your lows. You see both as training grounds for the soul. So the Baha'i faith is the middle path also of equanimity. Not indifference, but a deep inner balance. And the external world fluctuates, but your inner temple stands still. Right? So your calamity is your providence. Outwardly, it is fire and vengeance, but inwardly, it is light and mercy. If that isn't radical acceptance, I don't know what is, right? To the ego, suffering looks like chaos. To the soul, it's sculpting. You don't have to like the pain. Nobody does, okay? But in the Baha'i view, you trust that even the fire is a storm of God's love. Outwardly fire, inwardly mercy. Sit with that. Outwardly fire, inwardly mercy. Thou wert created to bear and endure, O patience of worlds. This is endurance for the soul. You were made for this, not to survive it, but to become luminous through it. And that's the Baha'i understanding. They say, come higher, polish the mirror. You're born to endure, not because you're weak, but because you're crafted by the beloved to reflect eternity. So the more the ground is plowed, the better the seed will sow, they say. Right? You can't bloom if you don't break open. Regard man as a mind rich in gems. Shout out Jewel July. Regard man as a mind rich in gems of inestimable value. That's the abundance code right there, too. Acceptance doesn't mean sitting in darkness. It also means recognizing that gold is in there. And yes, sometimes you just got to go through the rubble to find it. We get so close to it sometimes and then we just back away, you know? It's tough. This is like you got to be battle tested for this thing. Got to be battle tested of the spirit and the soul. That's what it is. You're getting battle tested, right? And that's good. That means the invisible realms, the spirit guides, the yadams, everything is paying attention, right? So just trusting in that. Not just the good, not just the easy, all things. The Baha'i heart doesn't fight the fire, it sings with it. I trust that even this is love disguised as challenge. What about Sikhism, the lion's path, right? Sansipahi. What about this, right? What about Ik Onkar? Is that just like a tattoo that someone gets? Or is the oneness so deep that there's no room for good and bad? Only the flow of Akal Pura, the timeless one. Because Guru Nanak was spitting divine radical acceptance way before modern psychology caught on, right? Let me go through some of this stuff. So, walk in will with the divine, O Nanak, for it is written with you. This is hukam, the cosmic flow, the sacred order. So, in Sikh terms, it isn't resignation, it's alignment, it's knowing. So, whatever is happening to you, grief, betrayal, loss, was written with you, not to punish you, but to reveal. To walk in Hakam means no resistance, no ego, only grace by the grace of God. Okay? Terabhana mitalage, right? Sweet is thy will, O Lord. He didn't curse fate. He didn't Cry out, why me? He said, your will is sweet. Damn, that's soul fire, okay? Whatever pleases you, O Lord, is good. Radical acceptance isn't numbness. It's seeing God's fingerprint on every page of your story, even the chapters you didn't ask for. And Sikhism says you don't need to understand everything. You just need to remember. I know, love. You're telling me about the time. I'm trying my absolute best to try to speed it up. I know it's been an hour. Shit. I'm just in the zone because of King Jin. Dang it. I'm in the flow. I'm in the fire flame. All right. What do you call that? Firestorm? Firestorm. Okay. I'm in the firestorm, babe. But thank you. I love you for infinity. Okay. So it's oneness at street level, spirituality with eye contact. No one is my enemy, no one is a stranger, right? Dropping the illusion of separation. Conquer the mind and you shall conquer the world, said Guru Nanak. Ian is the element. Woo! I even managed to get to work. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. All right. Radical acceptance isn't letting the world break you. It's realizing the world is inside you, and when your mind bows to the guru, the world bows back. If it is your will, then bless me with this pain. If it is your will, then fill my hands with nothing. Let me never forget, even emptiness is full of you. That's seek radical acceptance. That's Hukam, right? Love you for infinity. That's walking barefoot out on thorns and still chanting Wahaguru, right? The longer you talk, the more show up. I bet everyone's just kind of like, whoa, this is a lot. Man is going off. He's spitting, right? We're gonna let him cook, okay, for a little bit longer. Um, let's end with Vajrayana, okay, guys, because my heart is really with this path and it's very, very inspiring too. I know there's a Lojong slogan that says regard all dharmas as dreams. So I mean, I don't want to take from random scriptures or different things because we do have a specific path working that we follow. Shout out to Guru Geshe-la and so forth. But I just want to speak through some of these. So if you're saying regarding all dharmas as dreams, it means that everything is emptiness. A dream is a mirage, right? A flicker in the mind stream. So radical acceptance is non-resistance to illusion, non-resistance to Maya, right? So stop trying to fix the dream and wake up inside the dream. You become a lucid being in the bardo of life, right? Don't purify the mind, see it as water. Another Lojong slogan is drive all blames into one, right? So stop projecting, judging, and turn the mind inwards because radical acceptance is realizing that every demon is my own face in disguise. Not to self-flagellate, of course, but to own the source of your experiences. You don't fix the world by rearranging shadows, right? You transform it by recognizing the projector. Yep. Love you, bro. No homo. Having a meeting in 5 minutes. Round it up. Yeah. Got you, man. Almost over. In Vajrayana, you meet Mahakala, Vajrakilya, Palden Lamo. These are deities with skulls, fire, weapons, blood. They don't come for your ego, they burn it down. Because true compassion doesn't coddle delusion, right? It cuts through illusion like a flaming blade. But radical acceptance is saying, yes, I'm afraid. Yes, I'm impure. Yes, I do have desire, rage, and sorrow. And still I bow, and still I practice. And still I include it all in the mandala. And I offer that mandala. I offer you everything. I offer the universe to you. You see? So you're turning poison into medicine. That's the dralas of the Dakini principle, right? You don't get rid of your anger, you ride it into insight. You don't kill your lust, you harness it as creative power. You don't erase your fear, you sit with it until it becomes a door to emptiness. So radical acceptance isn't being passive, it's very transformative, actually. So your demons become your retinue, your flaws become your fuel. When the obstacle appears, invite it out to tea. So guru as mirror of the mind is a very common symbol in Vajrayana of awakened awareness. So to take refuge in the guru is to radically accept your own Buddha nature, no matter how dirty your karma looks today, because the guru is your own mind's mirror, showing you the face that you refuse to see. And this has happened through countless retreats and different things that I've experienced this deep visceral uh, intention and devotion, not to the outer, but to the truth that you're already awake underneath your bullshit, right? So it doesn't wait for death to teach you how to die. It trains you to be now. The Tao is the display of mind. Let it rise, let it pass. Don't cling, don't chase. Here's a final point, okay, guys? In the highest view of Vajrayana, Jochen or Mahamudra or whatever, there is nothing to accept and nothing to reject. All phenomena are play of the Rigpa, pure awareness. Whether pain or bliss, thought or silence, clarity or confusion, it's all just luminosity dancing. Radical acceptance here becomes radical non-duality too. Because Tilopa, didn't he say, when there is no preference, the way is clear? Okay? So ride the demon, but don't exercise it. Let the fire burn what you are not until only the luminous awareness remains. Shout out to King Jin. Shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to the Primal Sutra Nexus. Shout out to Haru as well. Hey, I see him outside the window. There's a little black kite or a hawk outside my window right now. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. Thank you so much for tapping in. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you got all these different perspectives to now shift your paradigm into the one flow and the understanding that you got to double down on this radical acceptance stuff. And it's way more powerful than domination and trying to force your way to the top, right? Just let go and understand. You can let God, let flow. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang, thank you so much for tapping in. Have an incredible rest of your day. Have the best day ever. Let's win today. Upward Spiral.